18, I left home for college and became an adult. When he was 18, he finished training and became a fighter. When I was 18, my teachers taught me to think critically and to analyze texts. When he was 18, his teachers taught him to shoot a tank and analyze enemy positions. When I was 18, I studied the map of my university campus and learned the way from my dorm to the classroom. When he was 18, he studied the Golan Heights and learned the route through the hills to the battlefields. When I was 18, on Yom Kippur, I lifted my voice and sang out for forgiveness. When he was 18, on Yom Kippur, he lifted his Uzi and his bullets sang out their fury. When I was 18, I held beliefs that were unfounded, smug in the confidence of my youth. When he was 18, he held the northern border in a tank without ammunition, fearful of the imminent Syrian offensive. When I was 18, I began my journey through adulthood. When he was 18, he ended his journey through this world. When I was 18, on Yom Kippur, I studied the Torah, prayed, and lived. When he was 18, on Yom Kippur, he studied field maps, fought, and lives now in each of us. Today we remember the 23,320 soldiers who fell in the defense of the state of Israel. In the 1973 Yom Kippur War, when 6 Arab armies launched a surprise attack against Israel, we lost nearly 2,700 of those soldiers. I wrote the poem I just read in memory of an unknown tanker in the 7th Armored Brigade on the Golan Heights. As Yoav mentioned, I grew up in the community and after college moved to Israel, where I served for 3 years in the IDF. I've had the solemn responsibility of spending 3 of the past 4 Memorial Days at military cemeteries in Israel. As a member of the reconnaissance unit of the Givati Brigade, we were sent to represent the unit at memorial ceremonies of soldiers who fell in battle. One year, I was assigned to the family of a soldier who fell in Lebanon in the early 1980s. I learned at his memorial that each year, for the past 30 some odd years, the other soldiers from his team arrived at the cemetery on Memorial Day from all over Israel to be there for their fallen friends' parents. Many now have kids that are the same age as their friends were when he fell. Another year, the family I was assigned to had lost their son in the early 2000s in Gaza. For the families of those fallen soldiers, every day is Memorial Day. While we remember the fallen each year on this day, for their families, their grief is never ending and their loss is ever felt. This summer, I attended the funeral of Jordan Bensenbaum, a lone soldier from France. Like myself and many other lone soldiers, Jordan left everything behind in his home country to serve in the IDF. Tragically, Jordan was killed in the Gaza operation. The family asked that only close friends come to the funeral. 30,000 people showed up at the cemetery, an incredible tribute to Israel's appreciation for her soldiers. The words of the famous poet Natan Sharansky, who spoke at Jordan's funeral, will stay with me forever. Haben shalachem, haben shalanu, ha'ach shalachem, gam ha'ach shalanu. Your son is also our son. Your brother is also our brother. Sharansky was right. We are one family. Israel is a country of 6 million people, each of whom is certain that he or she knows best how to bring peace to the Middle East. But despite all the disagreements and the different perspectives, all Israelis share a single dream, that their children might live in peace and security in Eretz Israel, in the land of Israel. Major John Hotel III was a West Point graduate and a Rhodes Scholar who was killed in Vietnam. I would like to read you a few sentences from his obituary, which he himself wrote with the intention that they be read in the event of his death. And he wrote, "I am writing my own obituary for several reasons. First, I would like to spare my friends who may happen to read this the usual cliches about being a good soldier. They were all kind enough to me, and I not enough to them. Second, I would not want to be party to perpetuate an image that is harmful and inaccurate. Glory, the most meaningless of concepts, and I feel that in some cases it is doubly damaging. We all have but one death to spend, and insofar as it can have any meaning, it finds it in the service of comrades in arms. And yet, I deny that I died for anything. Not my country, not my army, not my fellow man, none of these things. I lived for these things, and the manner in which I chose to do so involved the very real chance that I would die in the execution of my duties. If there is nothing worth dying for, in this sense, there is nothing worth living for. The 23,320 sons and daughters of Israel that we remember today had varying beliefs. But the one belief that they shared and ultimately died to preserve was a belief in the state of Israel. Like Major Hotel, it was the service of those ideals that they lived for that they ultimately died for. So as Jews living in America, what can we do? In Israel, as we heard earlier, 2 piercing sirens sound in the course of 24 hours and bring the entire country to a standstill. Cars pull over on the highway. Jews of all backgrounds and ethnicities bow their heads in tribute. In America, it is easy for us to feel removed at times. So what can we do to remember them and honor their memory? Ladies and gentlemen, there is work to be done. Iranian aggression is an existential threat to the state of Israel. Bias in the media threatens to undermine world support and even U.S. support for Israel. Instances of anti-Semitism in Europe are as high this year as in any year since the Holocaust. There is work to be done. We can pay tribute to the fallen by paying tribute to the object of their ultimate sacrifice, the state of Israel. We can take 10 minutes this evening to put down our computers and phones and put homework on the side for 1 second and ask ourselves what we can do for the state of Israel. For some of us, it may be money. Some of us can donate to AIPAC, the organization that does more than any to ensure that U.S. military support for Israel is unwavering. Some may wish to sponsor Tzevet Lochamim, an organization that was started by one of my best friends that trains lone soldiers preparing to enter the IDF's top units and gives them a family of former lone soldiers in Israel. Some of us may choose to volunteer. There are no shortage of volunteer opportunities in the Westchester area, and Yoav is more than capable of sharing those opportunities with you. Each one of us in this room has a special talent that we can give. Let us ask ourselves on Yom Hazikaron how we can apply that talent, even if we can only sacrifice 1 hour a week to pay tribute to those who sacrificed everything. I leave you with a quote by Yoni Netanyahu, brother of Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and former commander of Israel's elite counter-terror unit, Sayeret Matkal. Yoni was killed in the 1976 raid on Entebbe. In a letter to his father shortly before his death, he wrote, "I belong to Israel, Father, the way Israel belongs to me and to you and to every other Jew. I belong to Israel now, at this moment when everything points to a new explosion, when the whole house of Israel is united in its desire to continue its independent life, and its conviction that this life is ours by right and depends on our will and our readiness to sacrifice our all for its sake. If anything should happen, I'm glad I'll be here and be able to take part. This is my country and my homeland. It is here that I belong. As Jews, we all belong to Israel and she to us. May God bless today and every day the memory of those who gave their lives defending her. Thank you.